Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. And today I have with me Aditya. I think Aditya, many of you might know Aditya. Aditya is very active in the DevOps and cloud community, shares his knowledge through his YouTube channel, is also very active on LinkedIn. And today we will try to ask Aditya questions about DevOps and cloud day-to-day activities, work culture. We will try to learn about the roles and responsibilities and some real-time challenges. So this session is going to be really, really interesting and it is a very informal podcast. So please try to watch it till the end. Now, over to Aditya. Would you like to explain about yourself for our audience?
Yes. Yeah, first of all, big thanks to you, Abhishek, for giving me this opportunity to be here. And to everyone else, my name is Aditya Jaiswal, and I have total around 5 years of experience in purely DevOps. I actually started as a fresher from DevOps. So around 4 years, I worked in Capgemini, and there I worked in on-premises tool like Jenkins and all, and plus cloud also, Azure. Currently, I'm working in Deloitte, and there primarily I work with Azure DevOps.
Awesome.
So these are my credentials, and yeah.
So, Aditya, you started your journey as a DevOps engineer, right? And
Yes.
today, if someone joins as a DevOps engineer, as a fresher, what do you see is the difference? Like 5 years ago, when you started as a DevOps engineer, as a fresher, and if someone starts as a DevOps engineer today, what do you see is the difference from that time to this time?
Actually, when I joined, at that time, like companies did not expect that much from a fresher
Hmm,
as a DevOps engineer point of view. They
hmm,
did not. They just hope that freshers should know what exactly CI/CD. They did not even expect that you should know how to write the full stack pipelines. But at this point, since more people are coming in DevOps because
yes.
it is very much easier to learn and things. So companies expect too much now at this point. Like
Hmm,
you should know how to set up things, different DevOps tools, how to
hmm,
write full stack pipelines, how to manage networking aspects, how to
hmm,
perform perform security in your pipeline as well as
hmm,
deployment process and all. So plus at this point, even they won't come out and say that you should have experience in cloud. But every single
hmm,
company who is hiring for DevOps, they prefer that if you are having knowledge in at least one cloud platform, then
hmm,
you are given preference. So all
hmm.
these things create a big difference as compared to previous times.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, very well said. Because of the DevOps was not that exposed. If you look at 5 years back or sometime, and right now, I think literally everybody knows about DevOps. Whether you are in the development
Yes,
background or any field,
yes.
right? People are talking about DevOps. And yeah, we will deep dive into technical stuff in a couple of minutes. But before that, because we are already talking about freshers, uh, with your experience, what do you see? Like, do you think there are opportunities for freshers in the current DevOps market?
Opportunity is definitely there, but it
Mhm.
depends what kind of skill sets you are having. Because
Okay.
as I said, a crowd is becoming more in DevOps. Okay.
Hmm.
And if you want to stand out, first of all, you should 100% have good knowledge in DevOps using cloud,
Hmm.
either AWS or Azure. These two are the maximum market capture platform. So either these two. Plus, like you should know how to do security aspect also, like how to secure your pipeline, how to do secure deployment. Okay, those
Hmm.
things also you should know. Plus, you should know how to do proper CI/CD full stack writing pipelines. Okay,
Hmm.
so opportunity is there, but again, as I said, expectation is too much from even freshers. So
Hmm.
if you are having these kind of knowledge, then definitely opportunity will be there. If you don't, then yeah, it's very hard to get a job if you don't have proper skill sets in DevOps.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So now, if we move towards your current work experience, right? So you have 5 years of experience in DevOps engineering. So currently, what kind of
Yes.
tasks do you perform on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, so let me break down in my both the companies. So previously, as
Yeah.
I was in Capgemini, so there I was started as a fresher. So initially, I was part of a troubleshooting team, where
Okay.
my task was like whenever a client raises a ticket that
Hmm.
okay, I'm facing this issue, I don't know how to integrate this plugin or this tool with Jenkins, then they
Hmm.
would raise a ticket and I would connect to them and try to resolve those issues. So those were like basic things. Plus, as I move ahead in that company, so my roles and responsibilities increased. After that, my daily roles and responsibilities were like that. Initially, I would check how many tickets are there, how many issues I need to troubleshoot and fix. Plus, there were many clients who would come and say, okay, I need dedicated support for setting up my CI/CD pipeline.
Got it.
Actually, we were selling a DevOps platform which was integrated with different DevOps tools. So if a client is purchasing that, they need to be guided with how to set up their project. So they would come to me and yeah, exactly. So they would come to me and show me, okay, this is the project I have. Help us set up this. So I would show them how you can push it to GitLab, then how you can configure your CI/CD pipelines and integrate Nexus, SonarQube. Okay, those kind of things. Those were some tasks. Then after that, in Capgemini, I was also a shared resource. So I started working after 1 or 2 years. I started working in Azure also. So there, since it was getting started from like beginning.
Sorry. But what is a shared resource for our audience to understand? When you say shared resource, what does that mean?
So initially, in every company, you will see like employee works in one project inside a company. Okay, but shared resource, what happens? You will be working in multiple projects. That means 50% you will support this project, 50% you will support different project. Okay. So like even inside company, my billing was being done from 2 different projects, like my payment and all those things. It was coming from 2 projects. So shared resources like that. You will be supporting in multiple projects.
Awesome. Got it. Yeah. So you were explaining this about your Capgemini experience where you were working in it.
Yes.
And currently, what are you doing?
So currently I am in Deloitte, where I work on Unilever projects, and I handle around like 20 to 25 projects are in my name, always where I work as a DevOps engineer. So my task starts at like I will receive emails and or like notifications or messages. Aditya, we have this deployment planned, and usually like Aditya, we need to deploy our files like Databricks, Data Factory to QA environment, PPD environment, and prod environment. So I will like see the pipeline. If I need to modify it, then as per requirement, I'll modify it. Okay, that is one task. Then another thing, there are many new projects also coming. So they will ask me, okay, Aditya, we have .NET based application. We want to create CI/CD pipelines to deploy the application to app services. So kindly help us with that. So as a DevOps engineer, I have the access to their repository. So based on that, I will see like what kind of CI/CD pipeline I need to create so that I can deploy to app services. Okay, and other kind of projects like we have deployment to like AKS, Azure Kubernetes Services. So for that, in most cases, like the pipelines are already created. I just need to modify a bit as per the requirement. So on daily basis, these kind of things I will do.
Is it like you are one single person or you are working in a team?
So in my current company, there are only 2 DevOps engineers, me and my team member who's like little junior to me. So we together, we manage around like 25 projects, and together whatever task comes like deployment or like mostly like creating CI/CD pipelines, deployment or troubleshooting. So those kind of things we manage.
So one thing when you explained, I noticed is you were saying that you get this request through messages or through some sort of notifications. So are you not working in Agile methodology? Or are you just working in an informal way here?
The thing is in previous company in Capgemini, every request that we received was through Jira ticketing tool. Okay.
Yes.
That was properly managed and properly tracked. But here the thing is these 25 projects, some of them are integrated with Jira, some of them are using Jira, some of them are not. Okay. And it's like not possible to get all of them together. So it's like some requests we will receive through ticketing, some we will receive through email, and mostly like if some small task is there, then they will just ping us in Teams, kindly do this. So in that way we will work.
Got it. So how does the workload look like? Because a lot of people have this similar question that DevOps is a lot of work, or I heard that in DevOps you have to work overtime, you have to work in shifts. Of course, I believe that they are not true, but because you are working and you said that you are supporting 20-25 projects, so is it true in your case, or even for you it's not a lot of work? Can you explain?
So the thing is, one thing that I learned, ki after certain years of experience, you understand this, ki you need to work in your shift hours.
Hmm.
So I made this very clear that I will work in my shift hours. How much work is there? I will work, no issues. And
Hmm.
the thing is, ki even though we are having 25 projects, but not every day, every project will do deployment,
Hmm.
right? So every day it's like ki 2 or 3 projects are there who will, some wants to deploy to QA, some wants to deploy to PPD. But like once in a month or like bi-weekly, once in a 2 week, they will deploy to prod. So
Got it.
overall, like workload is actually very good, very manageable, easily manageable. And also like I don't have to work outside my shift. So
Hmm.
that's a very good thing.
Got it.
Thanks to Deloitte that they are not pushing us in a situation that we have to work outside our shift. So that's a
Makes
very
sense.
good thing. But as a fresher, when I was a fresher, I was working like a lot or more,
Hmm.
because sometimes it's like in your mind, it's like you want to impress your manager. Also, like they know, okay, he's a fresher, he will work more. So they make us work more. But I realized, okay, from now on, I need to work inside my shift.
Awesome. Yeah, one thing that I liked what you explained is DevOps is all about streamlining the process and reducing the operations, right?
Exactly.
And what you said is right. It doesn't matter if you're supporting 20 teams, 25 teams. If you have streamlined the process, then you receive less issues, and also not everybody might be going through that all the tools and the platform that you have built, so you can manage the workload. And definitely
Exactly.
it's not true that for whoever is thinking this way, Aditya also agrees that in DevOps it is not mandatory that you work in shifts, right? There are many number of companies who don't have that culture. Probably one or two companies might have it. It's up to the company, right?
Yes. One thing I want to add,
Hmm.
like you said, streamlining and all. So,
Hmm.
like recently, since we are managing a lot of projects,
Yes.
and the people who worked before me, they did not do a very good job of maintaining repositories and like also making the pipeline efficient. So recently, like my manager actually asked me, Aditya, give us some suggestions in which we could like make the projects and CI/CD pipelines more efficient, so that
Hmm.
we could save a lot of time.
Hmm.
So still, like in some projects, we have implemented certain factors to decrease the time of CI/CD pipeline. Okay.
Hmm.
Like so that and that involved a very big part was the collaboration with developers. We
Got
guided
it.
them how to properly push the files in repository, and half of the tasks we are taking help from them to get done. Then
Hmm.
from our part also, we are modifying the pipelines as much as we could to so that we could decrease the time. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is
Hmm.
one of the tasks that I'm currently working on to make the pipelines more efficient. And if
Awesome.
you know this factor, like making pipelines efficient, it's a very good thing.
Hmm.
This will give you really good opportunities if you know this thing, how to make pipelines more efficient.
Awesome. And when you're working with a lot of projects, right? Like you said, 20, 25 projects, do you work on building shared libraries or reusable modules so that you don't have to rebuild the entire infrastructure for the other team? How do you manage so many teams actually?
See, like the backend part of like whatever services we use from Azure,
Hmm.
so there is a separate infra team.
Hmm.
So if any new resources we need to create, that is done by them. Okay.
Okay.
From my side, the thing is key, I mainly work with the CI/CD pipelines,
Hmm.
mainly deployment. The services which I work on is like I work to deploy files on Databricks, Azure Data Factory, analysis services, logic apps, SQL database, then SQL data warehouses, then blob storages, then
Hmm.
app services, and deployment to AKS. These are the services that I work on. So for these, whatever things I need to set up inside pipeline, those things I work on. But the
Got it.
backend part, like creating services, how big the services will be,
Hmm.
what kind of access will be there, those kind of things is managed by a third party team, which like it's like infra team.
Infra team. Okay. Okay. So, what is the actual scope of your DevOps team? Like you said, infra is taken care by a different team. And you said that you are maintaining the CI/CD pipelines. Apart from that, is there any other responsibilities that you take in the DevOps team that you are doing currently?
Yeah, so in current company, like these are the main tasks that I
Got it.
do on. Other
Hmm.
than that, I like guide, like do basic some sort of consultancy. Like they will come, they will ask ki, Aditya, explain us some proper branching strategy which we should use to make our repository
Got it.
properly managed and efficient. Those
Hmm.
kind of things. Plus, they will ask ki what kind of how we should create pipelines. Okay,
Hmm.
those kind of things. But there are some like outside India clients who want
Hmm.
to understand how to create proper pipelines. They want to learn those. So I am guiding them with that also. So it's like
Awesome.
mostly it's like it's around uh, build and deployment part, CI/CD pipeline part. It's everything is around that for me
Hmm.
here.
Got it. Got it. And basically, Aditya, when you are doing all this sort of work, right? Definitely, even though the process is streamlined or everything can be sorted, but you will see some sort of challenges, right? As a DevOps engineer,
Definitely.
because you are dealing with a lot of systems. So, can you give our audience a little view of what kind of issues do you see, or what kind of challenges do you face?
So a very common thing that happens everywhere is like access issue. So that
Hmm.
is very simple thing. Okay. One proper example I want to give you. So
Yeah.
in previous company, the platform that we used to sell, so it was integrated with different DevOps tools like Jenkins, SonarQube,
Hmm.
Nexus. And every quarter we used to upgrade all the tools. Okay.
Hmm.
And we were like here deploying these things inside OpenShift. So a issue that was occurring, for example, like we were upgrading SonarQube. Uh, in front side, we saw that it's upgraded, but it was not accessible. Okay.
Hmm.
So to understand what exactly was the issue, we went back into backend into OpenShift, saw the pod of SonarQube, went
Hmm.
inside and checked for logs.
Got
So
it.
most of the challenges or issues that come, you will find in logs. What are the issue? How to fix it? So we saw that there was some plugin inside it, which was same plugin was having multiple versions. So
Hmm.
we just removed the older versions and restarted. This is
Got
one of
it.
the way that it was fixed. And other than that, also like so many different kind of issues we get. Like sometimes Jenkins will just crash. So we see
Hmm.
through the pipelines. Most of
Hmm.
the issues come in pipelines. Ki pipeline will fail. Best way is to check the log only from downside. You will see
Hmm.
sometimes it's like 500 internal server error. Then we will restart the server we are connecting to, like Nexus or SonarQube. Sometimes 137 error. Then we will check memory usage.
Hmm.
Like 137 is like if memory not enough memory
Hmm.
is available. So that we will check using Grafana we have, which will help us to monitor these kind of things. Okay. And other than that, 403 is the most common error that we get most of the time,
Hmm.
because not all the clients are very familiar with DevOps. So they are not unable to configure like proper credentials here and there,
Hmm.
and they
Hmm.
face a lot of issues. So these are the general issues.
So all
Definitely.
the things Aditya just mentioned are, the issues that you can also reproduce when you're working on your projects,
Exactly.
right? Because many times people ask me, probably people might also ask you that during interviews I fail to answer about the real-time challenges that I face, or when interviewers ask me, tell me about one scenario where you ran into an issue and how did you solve it, right? So whatever Aditya explained right now, see, they are not something that you cannot reproduce on your local systems, like whether it can be 403 or it can be 500 or it can be memory related issues. Everything, if you are building your own CI systems or if you're building your CD systems, if you try to scale it up to an extent, you will start seeing these issues, right? So yeah, thanks Aditya for mentioning
And
the real time issue.
yes, one thing I want to add to everyone who is watching,
Hmm.
ki if you want to really learn DevOps, the best way is to learn through troubleshooting. Like
Troubleshooting.
more you practice hands-on and error you
Hmm.
get, it's good because you can try to troubleshoot is because
Hmm.
when I started DevOps, most of my learning was done through troubleshooting.
Hmm.
Whenever I face an issue, I used to troubleshoot, and through that I learned a lot. So I would
Hmm.
suggest ki do as much hands-on as you could do, and troubleshoot more so that you will learn in a much better way.
Hmm. Hmm. Totally makes sense. Troubleshooting, doing practicals, right? Building. If you are learning something, try to immediately do some proof of concept on it. It's not that you just watch the theory part and you think that you understand. When you actually try to put your hands on it, your hands literally get dirty. Yeah. Apart from
Yes,
this,
Abhishek, also whenever you want, like I have two diagrams also, like
yeah, please.
the pipeline structure. Yeah, if you want, I
Please,
can
you
share.
can, yeah, you can go ahead and probably we can discuss about one in this podcast and next one we can take it in a different one.
Sure,
Whichever one
sure.
you would like to, you can
Okay,
share.
so
Yeah.
okay, so I will share this part.
Hmm.
This is the ones that we do currently. Okay,
Awesome. And this is the architecture that you have implemented in your organization, right?
exactly. Yes,
Awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So what happens? Like, let's talk about AKS. Okay,
Hmm.
when we want to deploy application to AKS. So what
Hmm.
will happen? User will like whatever source code they will just commit the changes inside the repository.
Hmm.
As soon as the changes are committed, so PR will be raised. Okay, pull
Hmm.
request. So based on that, as soon as the PR is raised, trigger that will trigger a CI pipeline,
Hmm.
and this CI pipeline will start building the application, running test cases, and all those things. So like two scenarios I will explain. First, let's talk about deployment of application to AKS. So
Hmm.
what will happen through this CI pipeline? It will build the application, build the artifacts, and then build the Docker image and push it to Azure Container Registry. Okay.
Awesome. Hmm.
So once the Docker image is pushed, then and once the pipeline is completed, so the completion of this pipeline will trigger this release of CD pipeline.
Hmm.
So once the CD pipeline has started, then it has the access to YAML files, YAML
Hmm.
manifest files for deployment to AKS. And then inside the YAML file, we have mentioned the Docker image and
Hmm.
that Docker image name. So that Docker image will be fetched from ACR.
Hmm.
And like we have used secrets also so that
Hmm.
it's like authenticated. And then we will be first deploying to a lower environment like Dev, QA, PPD. And
Hmm.
if everything goes well, then finally we will deploy to prod and DR. This is one thing,
Awesome.
right?
And
So,
here,
and I,
if you,
yes.
sorry, one question. So here, I noticed that you said if there are some artifacts, then trigger the CD pipeline, right? So how do you verify if the pipeline is successful or not? Like, you might get artifacts even for a failed CI pipeline, right? So how do you verify that only if the job is successful, or do you write any shell scripting or conditions there? What do you do there exactly?
So actually, we are not deploying very many complex applications. So in
Hmm.
most cases, like when the pipeline is successful, artifacts are present. Okay,
Hmm.
and the thing is key. Two cases I will explain. One is
Hmm.
like for Kubernetes. So in
Hmm. Hmm.
Kubernetes, usually when we are deploying to Kubernetes, we
Hmm.
don't actually create the this proper artifacts. Okay,
Got
these
it.
artifacts we mostly create when we want to deploy the files to Databricks, Data Factory, those kind of things. Then we generate the artifact mostly.
Okay.
But when we are working with AKS, what we do, we just like build the application and we create the Docker image. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that part is different. Then when we want to deploy the files to Azure Databricks and all, Databricks, Data Factory, in that case, we will convert the whole repository as artifact.
Hmm.
So that those files which I want to deploy from the repository will be present in form of artifacts, and at release time, I can select those files, choose the directory of those files, and through CD, we will be adding some task to deploy the files to Data Factory,
Got
Databricks,
it.
and all. And from there, we'll be deployed. And for in those cases, for authentication, we are using service principal
Hmm.
that is created.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's a very good architecture. Uh, thanks, Aditya. I think people who are watching it, you can take this as your reference, right? Aditya has put together components with all the, CI part and CD part very well. So yeah, definitely, we are talking about the other architecture. We will take it in a different podcast for sure. Now, apart from
Sure,
this,
sure, Abhishek.
right? So apart from this, what I'm interested in the podcast is that for freshers, whoever is watching this particular thing, or people who want to transition into DevOps roles, whoever is watching it, right? So how do you actually learn new technologies? Because in DevOps, there are a lot of new concepts, right? And you have been working
Uh,
from 5 years.
So the best way for me, the way that I used to learn, initially, like I did not know any DevOps. I just learned what is CI/CD pipeline and
Hmm.
gave interview in my Capgemini and got into a project. So the way that in most companies, mostly specifically MNC companies, they will
Hmm.
give you POCs. POCs is like proof of concept. So if any new tool that needs to be explored or implemented in project, so before doing that, they will ask someone to do a demo. So to me, they give a lot of POC, and after a certain point, I got very excited by doing POCs because
Got it.
it makes you learn new things, implement it, create demo. So that was one of the thing. And after a certain point, I got so interested that if I'm doing anything and if I stuck somewhere, then in my mind it's like that, okay, I don't know shell script. Maybe I should start learning. So from that, I will start learning. Then recently, recently this GitHub Actions, GitLab CI/CD, they started. So no, obviously, if you are a DevOps engineer, you will understand how easier it will become if you have the same tool for storing your source code plus building and deploying applications from the same point. So that created a very good interest in me. So I started learning that. So slowly, after a certain point, interest will appear in your mind and you will start learning things automatically.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much, Aditya, for joining the podcast today and sharing all your experience with us. Before leaving, do you want to share anything with our subscribers?
One thing I would say, same as I said previously also, focus on two things. First of all, whatever tool you learn it from scratch. Okay, learn it from scratch and make sure you do hands-on. Plus, every tool that you learn, hands-on plus troubleshooting. These 2 points, if you remember, any tool is there, you can learn very easily. Everything will become very easy if you do like practical plus troubleshooting.
Sure.
And thank you so much, Abhishek, for having me here.
No worries. It's mutual. Thank you so much, and see you in the next podcast. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you so much.